KC24 brings you the lifestyle show full of local flavors, hidden gems, and community events right here in our own backyard. You're watching Central Valley Today.
Well, welcome back to Central Valley Today. Just this month, the United States Surgeon General issued a new advisory on the link between alcohol and cancer risk, as alcohol consumption is the third leading preventable cause of cancer in the United States, after tobacco and obesity, increasing the risk for at least 7 types of cancer. Board-certified doctor, Dr. Adam Rajul, is here with more information. Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Great, how are you doing?
Good.
Well, not that great, because you're about to tell us about how damaging alcohol is.
Yeah, I know, I'm going to break a lot of people's hearts. Yeah, so alcohol, the problem, it's widely available, it's socially acceptable. When we think of tobacco, our brains are wired to think cancer.
Yeah.
Not so much with alcohol. I feel more so we think liver, which causes liver, end-stage liver disease, also known as cirrhosis. But it causes a myriad of cancers, which the attorney Surgeon General mentioned, as you mentioned earlier. And if we put the graph up, we got another Medical Monday graph. So as you can see, it essentially affects your whole body. It affects your heart. Not only can it lead to heart failure, but it affects the electrical conductivity of your heart. It can even lead to arrhythmia. It can impact your immunity, your skin, your liver, and multiple cancers. It can increase risk of breast cancer, throat cancer, colorectal cancer. So multiple cancers, and then last but not least, it's also been associated with early dementia. If you look at this next graph here, well, it's actually not a graph, it's an image. On the left, you can see a normal 43-year-old brain, and on the right is a 43-year-old who is an alcoholic. As you can see to the right, there's substantial brain atrophy. Atrophy literally means wasting away of the tissue. Now, as we age, we all have an expiration date. Our brain atrophies, but when you're drinking alcohol, it accelerates the rate at which your brain atrophies.
Really?
And there's been a strong correlation between early onset dementia, depending on your alcohol intake.
Okay, well that makes sense then.
Yeah. And the issue is, it's not going anywhere. It's a multi-billion-dollar market in the United States. We're going to see all the great ads during the Super Bowl, and it's a $1.5 trillion market globally, and it's expected to increase 3% every year. So I guess the take-home point for this is just know that it essentially affects your whole body, and if there is somebody that we know with alcoholism, just be there for them. There's a lot of patients that I see that struggle with it, and it's fairly common. It predicted 6 to 10% of us in the U.S. have issues with alcoholism. That's 15 to 20 million Americans. So that's a lot of people.
That's a lot of people.
Yeah.
I think the one thing that was surprising to me is 7 different types of cancer.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
It's a lot, yeah. Like, we know tobacco causes many types of cancer. The medical industry has known this for a while, and I'm glad it was mentioned. Kind of like the FDA, after 30 years now they're banning, the red dye. Thank you, FDA, after 30 years for banning this. But just like we talked about preserved foods, it's widely available, so is alcohol. Right. And let's say you're somebody, who works out, you care about your health, but you're drinking, it's going to impact your progress in essentially everything, everything you do. And it's been linked to many, psychiatric disorders, depression, anxiety. We think we drink alcohol, we relax, but it actually, it wires you in ways that, we don't commonly think of. Impacts your sleep. So really, yeah, it impacts your whole body. So, for patients at home, if you're watching, alcohol withdrawal is very serious. If you withdraw from heroin, cocaine, meth, any street drug, you're going to feel like crap, but you're not going to die.
Right.
You won't die.
Okay.
I've had a number of patients, especially during my residency training, as young as their 20s, that died from alcohol withdrawal.
Wow.
Yeah, it is the only, it's not really a drug, but it's the only quote-unquote drug withdrawal that you can die from.
Because I hear you can like break out into sweat.
Yeah. It's called delirium tremens. Your body basically, you have seizures, your body essentially shuts down.
Wow.
Yeah, it's very serious. So if you're at home, the withdrawal window for delirium tremens, which is seizures, alcohol withdrawal seizures, is typically 48 to 72 hours. But some patients, depending on their body weight, their intake, some withdraw sooner, some withdraw after. So if you're a heavy drinker, you haven't drank a couple days, you feel shaky, you're hearing things, you can have auditory or visual hallucinations as well. Go straight to the ER. Yeah, it's very serious, and I advise anybody that is having those type of symptoms to go straight to the ER. I admit probably at least, I would say 2 to 3 alcohol withdrawal patients per week.
Really?
Weekly, yeah.
Do you have any good resources for the people at home? Maybe if they're just nervous or they don't know if maybe they are struggling with alcohol?
Yeah, I mean, Alcoholics Anonymous is the big one. There's a lot of outreach programs. Like you said, education's huge. You know, I think, you know, there's a lot of resources that we need to improve on as a nation for patients that may not have the resources, you know, depending on their socioeconomic status and everything. So, you know, and then, like I say, movement is key. So for some people, movement, for me, it's lifting weights. For others, it may be mixed martial arts. It may be hiking. It may be running. It may be swimming. But when you're doing things like that, it releases endorphins. So those patients that find a new hobby or find something where they're moving, they're more likely to abstain from alcohol.
Okay.
Another reason, exercise. There's just so many.
Right. You can replace that with exercise, something good.
Exactly.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me.
Is there a good website for you us to reach you?
Oh, good website to
Yeah.
reach me?
Yeah.
I don't have a website, but I guess I better get one.
Get one then.